Hello, album enjoyers. Quick note to remind you of the Enjoy an Album Patreon page. For £5 a month, you get 2 extra episodes a week. They are ad-free. They are your fun, regular, normal episodes. Just me and Chris just fucking chatting and scatting about some of the best and worst albums of all time. Or you also get the access to the back catalogue of Patreon posts we've already done. Robbie Williams.
Iron Maiden.
Lin-Manuel
Miranda's Hamilton.
That was a good one. We've recently done Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran. Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran. Oh, the Raytons. Yes, there's been some really good episodes on there, so worth it. If you've run out of pods,
it's not like extra stuff. It's not like some podcasts are like, oh hey, we recorded a wee bit extra. This isn't like the fucking trimmings, man.
No, this is your gourmet album enjoyer experience.
This is an extra meal.
Absolutely. And you might be like, I don't want an extra meal. I'm full. Well, this is a better one that you won't be more full of. So how about that?
That is what we offer.
You also get early access to live shows, which is probably one of the biggest sells. So sign up to Patreon now at patreon.com/enjoy an album.
This week we're talking about Aquemini by Outkast. But before we get to that,
once again, let's talk about our live show. We've got a live show coming up at the Edinburgh Festival. It's August the 14th. Tickets are £10. It's 5 to 10 on a Monday, middle of the Fringe. Me and Chris, we won't be quite dead by the Fringe at that point. We'll still be young, fun, full of calm. We'll be having a great time. We're going to be talking about one of our favourite albums, undecided which one yet.
Evanescence.
Probably Evanescence. We're going to have a good time, and you're going to have a good time. And after, Chris is going to kiss your toes one by one. You looking forward to that?
Depending on what if coronavirus comes back.
Even better. I think that'll make coronavirus come back.
If I kiss everybody's toes. I'm not kissing anybody's
coronavirus.
Anything. I'm not a kisser. Not an ass kisser. Not a foot kisser. I'm just a cool guy who loves to have a good time.
Both Chris and I are performing solo shows at the Edinburgh Festival as well. Mine is called Chronic Boom. His is called Scary Times. Both are at Monkey Barrel. So come check them
They
out.
are at the same time. You cannot see both on the same day unless you have a...
That's fine. Look, it's 25 days, so that's fine. You come on a different day, okay?
25 days.
Yes. This episode is with Ed Knight, one of the coolest comics in the country.
Ed Knight, a.k.a. Ed Shite. You might know him from Slime Country. You might know him from a chewing gum advert filmed in Barcelona. You might know him from his podcast with... He had like a politics podcast.
Yes, yeah. But that's, I don't know why we would plug something that hasn't existed for 2 years.
I just love to plug our guests, inactive podcasts.
So it's a really good episode. We're gonna keep this intro short because we rattled on and on talking to Ed because it was so much fun.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of stuff. Ed's had an interesting musical career himself.
It's one way of putting it, yeah.
His insights into Outkast, actually, in terms of guests, actually being able to articulate what they like about an artist, he's up there with like one of the best we've had.
Sadly, he is a very intelligent and funny young boy, and
infuriating.
It makes me want to tear his head off and throw it at people.
Yep.
But what can you do? If you are Patreon, you're going to go straight to the episode, bang, zoom, the fast train. If not, you're on the slow train through Adsville.
Yes, and it is stopping at multiple stops.
Yeah.
Catch you in a flip. Bye.
This week, we are sponsored by Manscaped.
They are the long-term Enjoy an Album sponsor. They provide the best pubic hair trimming services.
Surely that
services.
isn't what you usually say. The best below the belt maintenance.
They actually avoid the word pubic, I think, because it's a bit gross. Whereas I'm wanting to bring it back and say, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Look, you need to shave your pubes.
Let's bring pubes back.
Yeah.
But in reverse.
Yeah, let's bring the word pubes back, but let's shave pubes away using Manscaped product like the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Lawnmower 2.0, I believe we're on now. It's got a little light. It's chargeable with a USB-C, same as your phone. It works in the shower. It's very quick to have a whip around downstairs to make you look nice and good.
Your genitals are going to go from a 6.5. They're going to go from
inches. We can't say the Manscaped will give you a bigger dick, but we are inferring
it looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. That's the whole point.
It's crazy.
It's wild, actually. You have a shave, you look up, you're like...
trees don't look bigger in winter than in autumn. But...
The earth looks bigger, I think. I don't know if that's how it works. So we are sponsored by Manscaped. We have a code. If you follow the link and type in album20, you'll get 20% off, okay? So do that. Get your balls looking good for whoever wants to look at them, including yourselves.
Balls, cock, arsehole, nose, ear, cock. Check it out. Trim it hard.
Enjoy
Love
the
it.
episode. You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time. The title of Outkast's third album is a made-up word that combines the star signs of Big Boi, Aquarius, and Andre 3000, Gemini. Their music is about duality too, matching Big Boi's imperative to make the club get crunk with Andre's determination to activate the left and right brain. Andre was a virtuoso, clipping off compound rhymes with grace, while Big Boi's more grounded flow and clear diction rooted their songs. Hits like Rosa Parks put the duo's hometown Atlanta on the rap map, and at a time when formulaic albums by Master P and Puff Daddy topped the charts, Outkast unleashed an explosive sound that used live musicianship, social commentary, and heavy dose of deep funk to create the greatest record ever to come out of the dirty South.
Wow, the dirtiest record ever come out of the Great South.
I mean,
Great
arguably it's both.
Let's not call it the Great South. It sounds very,
Like Confederate.
Yeah, sounds charged.
Speaking of Confederates, we've got Confed Ed Knights here.
You can't spell Confederate without Ed.
You can't.
That's true. That's true. And you do own slaves.
You can't spell union without you and I.
Welcome, the realest motherfucker in the world. Ed Knight is on the pod. Make some noise. Honk, honk, honk,
honk, honk.
Start of the Slime Country podcast.
Come on.
Yes.
Forget about it.
Forget. Don't.
There'll be time for plugs at the end, boys.
No.
I like
We
them
always
at
run
the
out of
start.
time.
Yeah, okay. I gotta listen to the Slam Country podcast then.
Okay, we're going to listen to it
Let's get it
instead
in,
of.
yeah.
If you like Ed, then you should listen to his podcast probably instead of this one.
So your podcast is about watching fan fictions.
Fan fiction from
fan
the
fictions.
internet, yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of like yours, where it's like we've picked a medium, and we're doing a deep dive into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the same features as well.
Pretty much, yeah. We've got some real disgusting freaks that listen to it, and I'm sure you've had some disgusting albums.
I wouldn't say that me and Liam were disgusting freaks.
No.
We are freaks though, for sure.
Absolute freaks.
Yeah.
You got me on the casting couch.
Yeah.
First ever couch guest.
First ever couchio.
Wow.
So we always ask our guests to sort of send us a selection of albums, and we have a little
Yeah.
discussion over who we want to cover. Do you remember who was on your list that you gave, Chris?
I think there was. I think Towns Van Sant was on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leonard Cohen may have been on
Leonard
there.
Cohen was on there for sure.
Was Nina Simone on there?
No, we've done her already. Oh, she was, but we were
yeah,
like,
okay,
we've
sure.
done her already. So.
Are you and Nina Head?
Yeah.
Ed is staying at my flat, and brother, I've got 3 beautiful Nina Simone
Lovely
records
stuff.
that we're going to
Lovely
fucking
stuff.
listen to later on tonight when we're sucking each other off.
Yeah. Sorry, Christopher, you're not invited.
See if you two were going to suck each other off in your flat, where would you do it? Because I was thinking about that.
You think about that, yeah.
We're looking after an extra dog this week, so we've got 2 dogs, and we've got my wife as well.
They're
So I don't know
gonna
which.
be the 2 dogs are going to be sucking each other off. Me and Liam are going to be sucking each other off.
My wife's gonna be sat in the cup chair going, "What the bloody hell's going on here?"
Christopher, I don't want you to feel left out. Just yesterday, I was talking about what fun memories I have of living with you.
Well, like,
The bedtime goblin.
yeah, the bedtime police.
The bedtime police, and
ACAB, by the way.
ACAB, except for the bedtime police. And no, I didn't actually mention the bedtime police. I talked about
When I exploded that plate.
yeah, when we left a stack of plates on the hob on a we couldn't figure out. I think it was a joint effort, but the hob was on and a stack of plates was left on top of it.
Right, okay.
We were all playing Mario Kart in the front room, which is had the biggest smash I've ever had in my life. What did all the plates in this rented accommodation smashed on the floor?
It exploded.
Yeah. Did you go buy new plates?
I think we must have done.
Nah.
We would just explode them too.
We were
if
just
you leave
eating
a
out of the
bunch-
cafetiere for the rest of the Fringe.
I don't like to call Roscoe that, but yeah.
Yeah, we're all eating out of Roscoe's bunghole for the rest of the
Bunghole sailors, man. But at the end of the day,
bunghole sailors.
bunghole sailors.
I thought that was your new take on the butthole surfers.
The Bunghole Sailors. That's
Yeah.
cool, man. That's be a good podcast name. The
That's
Bunghole
cool.
Sailors.
But we
The
are
bunghole-
doing our music pod. Thanks for bringing up a band. Bunghole surfers. Thanks for bringing up a band.
Thought you liked
So
that,
get us back on track because we are here to talk about music in a very serious fashion.
We're
Yeah.
serious music journalists. You obviously have had a music career yourself. You were
Yeah.
a choir boy,
Yeah, so I was a quiet boy.
and not like
Wait.
just for a wee church.
What?
You never heard
don't
of
know
this?
this.
Huh? You were a choir boy?
Yeah.
How international were you?
Very international.
Really?
He was touring.
You were a touring choir boy?
Do you know this? Do you know this about me?
I don't know this.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was a touring choir boy for 7 years. I've never spoken about this before, but I'm happy to.
Have you never spoken about this in the podcast?
No.
So if you go on the YouTube, talk about unhinged YouTube comments.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paedophiles out there who find Ed very attractive. as a young boy.
Really?
Well, I got loads.
Even still?
I got when I
He's a
was
good-looking guy.
throughout the time when I was a teenager, I'd get DMs from like people in Japan on like Facebook and Twitter,
Really?
just chatting, and then like a couple of them like on the dot midnight in the UK when I hit 18 started sending me graphic messages about how they wanted to fuck me.
That's
and
nice.
suck me. It's nice that they waited. Yeah.
Also with a time difference as well, though. Like,
Yeah, it was nice they took like it was. That's what I found weirdest about it. It was like hopping from foot to foot.
What
Like,
time is the UK?
Yeah, the time in
yeah.
London right now.
BST for sure.
That's cool, man.
So yeah, for
So have
7
you been to
years.
Japan since
But,
then?
Never since then, but I've had a couple of like weird ones where like fans of the choir have like come to my stand-up comedy shows.
It's like a different vibe.
I had one Japanese fan come from Tokyo to the Soho Theatre with a translator and sat in the back of the room.
and just go translation.
And they were just
So you were
whispering
like a
the
shit hot choir boy then? That was, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Baku.
Do you sing at all anymore?
What?
Baku
What's that?
means bad in Japan.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So I wasn't saying that you're. I wasn't saying that the translator thought that it was
That's
bad.
the translator reviewing Ed's stand-up.
Oh no, the person that bought the ticket thought it was bad.
Oh.
They left straight away, and the translator was like, "Yes, some of the stuff is quite hard to translate, and they didn't like it very much. They thought it was going to be more sort of like about like the choir,
Yeah, more singing,
more sort of godly."
more angelic, cherubic.
So you
songs.
guys were like probably the Metallica of English choirs.
Probably the Metallica of English choirs. Yeah,
I don't know how serious that is.
we. I might ask you to cut this out eventually, but we we toured around. I went to Japan like 6 times. From the age of 7, like there's an insane clip on YouTube where me and these other boys are singing at the Kennedy Center Honors, and
Kennedy Center.
yeah, and George Bush and like Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys are in the audience and stuff.
fuck?
And Steve Martin and stuff was there.
What? Did you meet any of them?
Apparently we did, but I can't remember.
Stevie
it. So,
Martin, the English comedian.
Yes,
She was there. Wow.
We were honouring her at the Kennedy Center, and
So, I mean, this is a podcast ostensibly about music, but more about 9/11. And you've met Mr. 9/11 himself.
I have, yeah.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
A wild and crazy guy.
A building that's got a costume on, but it's like a hair clip with a plane, half a plane either side, like a Native American arrow.
Wild and crazy building.
Crazy building.
But let's be serious for a minute. What do you
yeah.
think actually happened with 9/11?
I think it's like likely and probably, and this is just based on a little bit of research that I've sort of done independently. I think what happened is 2 big planes smashed into some buildings in New York City.
Wow.
100%.
Yeah,
Okay, we've been on the same website. So I think
Yeah.
Building
loose
7.
change.
Building 7.
Building 7,
Pentagon.
Pentagon. Yeah, what happened to the Pentagon? They should have hit the Pentagon. They should have hit the White House.
think that
Suspicious that the ones that are going a bit further, the ones that were going to the Pentagon never hit. Suspicious that it was only the 2 towers that got hit, and not the ones going towards George Bush and the CIA.
Ooh, very interesting.
Very
When was
suspicious.
the first time you ever heard Outkast?
The first time I ever heard Outkast. This is a really jumping around.
Yes.
I first heard Outkast on the 11th of September 2001. Hush that fast. Everybody moved to the back of the plane.
See, if Mark Wahlberg was back there, it would have went down differently. That's all
I
I'm
think
saying.
so, yeah. I think if Big Boi and Big Boi and Andre 3000 had been on those planes, those terrorists would have had a crazy time. They would have had a great
It would have got
time.
much more funky.
It would have been, yeah. I think so yeah, I was in this just in this choir. It was really weird. This guy came to my primary school in South London and was like sitting in on music classes and then picking out kids to sing scales for him after school. And then they're like, "Do you want to come and sing in this church choir?" But then at the same time, he was trying to turn it into this like boy band project. Oh. So for the next 7 years, that was my life till I was in my mid-teens.
How do you feel about it now?
I've been thinking about it a lot recently because I've sort of like been sort of in touch with some of the boys for the first time since I was like 14.
The old gang,
and also the guy that ran it died, like quite nobly like new and stuff. So, so I've been thinking about it a lot. Like everyone who knows has been like, "You're insane if you don't write. You should write material about it." Yeah. I don't really know what I think.
It's weird because you're in a choir, and then Ben Pope, he's like a choir guy.
Yeah.
And neither of you are talking about the fact that you're in a choir.
But for me,
you
it's
could
like
set up a choir.
I could do it, yeah.
You and Ben?
Me and Ben, just
you
two
think
of
you
us.
still got the pipes? You still got the goods?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with the smoking,
Exus Dominus.
It's all shit like that. Gaudete. I think me and Ben could be the Outkast of comedians' choirs.
Would you be the big boy or the Andre? I would say Andre.
You even need to ask.
Yeah.
I respect Ben a lot.
Oh, he's taller as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really strange but with my choir specifically, it's not the fact that I was in a choir that's interesting. There's the interesting stuff to talk, because it's not like being in the choir that's interesting. Like, I used to think about that a lot when I was in school because it's embarrassing and, you know, you got teased and stuff for being in a church choir. Yeah. Not like that, but like the church choir aspect and the angelic stuff is very bullyable. But since then, I've mainly been thinking about the music industry aspects of it because we were like signed to EMI and stuff. We did world tours.
Yeah,
I've been on like 7 albums.
There's so much stuff about Ed that you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then he tells you and you're like, shut up, you fucking dick. And then you look into it and you're like, that is you in a chewing gum advert in Barcelona.
yeah. And so it's like, what I need for the show is like, you need to see the clips of me on Japanese daytime TV talking Japanese at the age of 8.
Baku.
To get the effect. But I don't want to have projection in my comedy shows because I think it's lame.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's lame.
I'm joking.
I don't have projections. I've got a television. So
the coward's projector.
So yeah, many were thinking about like what it's like.
Anyway, I think multimedia comedy is absolutely valid. A lot of my friends are doing it, and I hope they all have a great Fringe.
Yeah, me too. You've got a screen behind you.
That's not.
You should have that.
Yeah, interesting.
You should have that up behind you at your Fringe show. That you should just have a picture of Big Boi behind you for your whole show.
So when you were on this like choir journey,
yeah.
I mean, were you listening to Outkast then?
No,
I don't think they were out.
They
would have been
around.
You're a bit younger than us, yeah.
I would have actually joined the choir just before the release of Speakerbox The Love Below. So they'd done all their best gear by the time I joined.
But it's interesting because I didn't know Outkast until Speakerbox Love Below. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, you know, the Hey Ya and Sorry Miss Jackson and all that stuff.
Well, see, I think this is one of the things I expected we'd talk about. Outkast are one of the groups where, like, for someone of my age, but like, especially as I think like a white English boy in a different country who's a bit younger
as well. Just like this guy. A couple of pretend Irish guys over here. It's cool.
That's okay. You don't get the full effect. You kind of get it secondhand. In the same way that you don't like, we kind of like, we don't have the effect of what like the 90s comedy boom was like because none of us can actually remember it. We can only like look back on it. So it's kind of like, I find it very interesting for stuff like that. Like I got into Outkast after they were famous.
How did you hear them? How did you get into them? Because you're a single child?
Yeah, only child.
Who was the person in your life who was like getting you?
We've already been through. I wasn't single when I was a child. I had loads of pedos coming up.
Other than when you were being beasted by a Japanese man.
Baku, very Baku.
That was hella Baku.
I said, boys, that was very Baku when you all beasted me in a group like that after the concert.
Sorry if you're actually abused, but at what point?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I can't remember if I was abused, but I think that's the kind of thing you forget, isn't it?
Me neither.
It's a cool episode.
Yeah, it's a great episode so far.
Who?
Yeah.
Like, was your like getting into music person? You got quite a cool taste in music. So I'm thinking if it's
Thank
not
you.
a big brother, a big sister, it's like who, and you have a big cousin or something. Was the internet your big brother?
A big part of it was internet. A big part of it was, if I'm honest, probably the choir, because there were loads of like, it was all kids sort of my age, around about my age, from my area. But a lot of them were like
South London.
Yeah, a lot of them are like really musically gifted and have gone on to like flowering careers in music and stuff. One of them changed his name and is now like a pretty considerable pop star. I'll tell you who it is after. But like,
Can I guess?
yeah,
Niall Horan.
no,
Oh, no, man.
Mika.
nearly there. Only
Big girls, you are beautiful.
only a few thousand more pop stars to go.
Japanese man, you are beautiful. Sorry.
Suck a do hard on the little boy. Anyway, so there was a lot of like, I got a lot of my early listening was through the choir, listening to like albums that were popular at the time, or people like the older boys had recommended, or that we were all listening to. I remember, like, for example, like, you know, I found out like Kerrang and shit through this one kid in the choir, and I got obsessed with like Kerrang music for a few years, and then like,
Who were your big Kerrang bands?
so like, I remember one time when we went to the Kennedy Center Honors, we were really,
With George Bush and Steve
with
Martin.
George Bush, and Steve Martin, and we went to, there was like and Hootie and the Blowfish as well were there, and
They were good.
don't forget Hootie and the Blowfish, and I was really excited. Me and the guy I was in the room with while we were staying were really excited because they had like albums that weren't out over here yet. And I
Yeah.
remember getting Meteora by Linkin Park.
Oh my God.
Really
Whoa.
excited on CD. I'm a big physical media guy. I love getting CDs.
Yes.
And so my mum was also a big one. Like, her parents lived in Birmingham, so
We did an episode on Meteora, by the way,
it's a great
for the
album.
live show.
try so hard.
Chris hated it.
I think it's better than Hybrid Theory.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. I love Session on that. Remember the fucking episode of The Sopranos? They close out with Session.
You're just
in the strip
looking
club?
into the distance. You all right, man?
I'm just thinking about things.
My mum, her parents lived in Birmingham, so we go on a lot of long drives together, and she'd like play me albums. Like, the first time I heard the Beatles, she played me Revolver, and like she listened to loads of like Parade. This is the first time I heard Prince was my mum, and stuff like that. The first CD I ever bought or I ever had was the Who Ultimate Collection.
Wow.
I was like 5. My parents got it for me because I saw the episode of The Simpsons with the Who in it, and I liked them.
Yeah.
That's a cool first album.
What happened in
They're
that
getting it
episode again?
secondhand. It's like they build a wall through the middle of Springfield, and the Who have to do a concert to destroy the wall.
It's really similar to the plot of the film. I feel like they were kind of reusing that.
And
with
Pete
Big Boi.
Townsend tries to have sex with Bart. It's crazy.
Listen, he had his dick inside Bart for research because he was doing a book about shagging Bart.
about shagging
Wait
Bart.
until Bart turned 18, which has never happened. So
My God, if you were a paedophile, shagging a cartoon would be perfect
Why? Why?
because they would never get older.
they never age.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's so true, man.
They say to catch a pedo, you need to think like a pedo.
Maybe that's how we rehabilitate them.
And Chris has been thinking like a pedo for a very long time.
Since he turned 18, he's been thinking like a pedo.
I can't even clarify how hard I need to say this again. I'm not a pedo.
Okay.
Let's do a bit of background check on the two boys, Andre 3000 and Big Boi, in our first segment that is known as Secret Posho.
Ooh, was one of them a secret posho?
Do it fast and it feels like not show. Got no money, you got Dash Bro. Secret Pasha.
That's the jingle.
That's a good jingle.
So the Andre 3000 is from Atlanta. His mum was a real estate seller,
Ooh.
and his dad a collections agent.
Like a bailiff.
I think it's like a debt collector.
Oh.
Went to Tri-Cities High School, which is maybe the smallest Wikipedia for any high school I've ever seen in over 2 years doing this podcast. It's literally just a sentence.
Let's say Andre 3000 went here.
They've got a very small alumni. Pretty much all American high schools have like a bit of alumni where like loads of American football players went there. So
They're like magnet schools in New York where loads of famous artists and stuff went.
Yeah. So we've done a few of them, but this one, it just said this is a school, and then it had a few alumni. And Big Boi went to Jenkins High School, which had 0 alumni. Just like not even Big Boi's name was on there.
Poor fucking Big Boy. He keeps taking L's.
And Big Boi lived with his 4 brothers and 6 sisters.
Wow.
But I couldn't find out much.
11 of them. That's crazy.
So I mean, I think maybe you can make the argument that Andre was maybe, lower middle class, upper working class, maybe. I mean, his parents both had fairly decent jobs, I guess.
It's like property and debt collection, though. They're like,
it's like the lower end.
You are a cog in an engine of death, but you're not the cog master.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like,
as the old saying goes, you're not the cog master, brother.
It's kind of like being like a cop or it's like it's like or bailiff. It's like
you're the go get them guy. That's the bailiff. You're the fucking go get them. Yeah.
Get them out.
Go and take the fucking TV and the camera.
So we're going to say an official no Paul show stance.
Secret scummo.
Sort of like lower middle class, I think. Probably.
Yeah. No,
secret scum as in scumbag behavior.
Oh yeah. Secret scum,
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can call Andre 3000 scum for his dad being a debt collector.
I'd say his dad was a scumbag.
His dad's a scumbag. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's the official
secret scumbag line. Dad.
So yeah.
Secret
okay,
scumbag dad.
There. That's a new segment every show.
Sounds too much like
imagine
Baghdad. Baghdad.
Yeah.
Scumbag. It's like bombs over Baghdad. The Outkast.
What are you saying? Have you had a stroke?
Cunt's gone back to Iraq in his mind. He's having PTSD flashbacks.
Big Boi and Andre met in a shopping mall.
Really?
It's very American.
Where they would do rap battles. Have you been to like an American style shopping mall?
Oh yeah, I've been to Florida. I've been to Kissimmee.
It's fucking. Wow. It's actually crazy. Like it always seemed bizarre to me growing up that like people go to the mall for the day.
Yeah,
because we had a mall in Dagenham, and I thought all this there was like discount shoe zone.
Yeah, same. In Croydon, we had the Whitgift Centre. I was like, why the fuck would you want to spend the day there?
And then you go to like a big American style one, where it's like actually like the one I went to, it had like a little mini golf thing. You know where people would get their like feet eaten by fish in like the middle. Instead of that, it's like a big mini golf thing, and along the way it was like an ice rink, and then a fucking roller coaster. I was like, right, I can see why you'd spend a day here. The
Mall of America, I believe it's in Atlanta.
Yeah,
stunning.
You've been there?
Is it big? Is it nice?
You've been to Atlanta?
No, but one of the first
episodes. Atlanta.
Have a look at the Mall of America.
Say I went to Atlanta. It might not be in Atlanta. Is it Atlanta?
I don't know. You're the one telling the story.
Just check.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. It's where Childish Gambino's show is set.
The Dirty South.
Yes. So that was a big thing, wasn't it? This was like Southern hip hop, which was very, I guess there was a lot of beef there.
It's almost brand new, right? Like as a thing, because hip hop was so coastal before that.
Yeah.
It's basically just East Coast, West Coast for
so there's like a famous thing at the Source Awards?
The Source Awards, yeah.
Out for different condiments.
Yeah.
They won Best New Album and the audience booed.
Is that the one where Andre 3000 turned up in a dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Source Awards and all audiences booing them. I think there's a clip from that.
I watched
the
it.
last sound
on the album.
Fire is
is from that. From
so they're booing him and for winning the album, and he says, "Look, you are all just so close-minded. The South has got something to say." Mm-hmm. And then that's what they say. The South has got something to say on this album.
And of course they do. They go on to be like the like head and shoulders above everybody else for like maybe the next 5 or 6 years in terms of what they're putting out.
Yeah. But also now, if you listen to the general hip hop now, so much of it is like the idea of like funk and those disco grooves being in like hip hop songs that was like born from like these kind of albums is like really popular now, and the idea of it like not being that seems like alien.
Even there's like little things like one of the things I love about this album particularly is how aware they are on the album, or how aware they seem to be of how ahead of the game everything they're doing is. Mm-hmm. They reference it multiple times. Yeah. Like the idea that, you're going to look back on this and then you're going to realize how amazing it is. And obviously like a big theme of the album is people like, saying, they're not as good as a playlist of Cadillac Music or whatever. Yeah. And they just know that
it's so funny to put that in your work that
I think it's incredible.
People are like, this is shit compared to your old stuff.
Yeah, this is shit, but it's actually good.
Yeah.
Even stuff like, there's in like I think it's the first part of the art storytelling. Like there's like Andre 3000 is ending bars, like is resolving bars with a perfect with like a major third jump. He's like no 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 no, which is something you hear all the time now. But this is 1996, 1998 is like by far the earliest I heard somebody doing that. Mm. It's like a cadence you hear all the time in like fucking like fucking Drain Gang stuff.
You were saying the other day with these two, it's interesting like what was that you were saying about like Big Boi and Andre 3K? Like you could show Big Boi to somebody.
Oh yeah,
I've never heard this. What were you saying?
I was saying that if someone had never heard of Outkast and you played them Big Boi, and then told them like that he's the second best one in the duo, they would blow their mind.
Yep.
I feel like Big Boi gets a bad, like in any other group, Big Boi would be probably the best lyrically, one of the most sort of like unique artists, and also probably the most mental.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's just not in Outkast because Andre 3K is there.
He's standardized to Andre 3000.
I think he's like Ernie Wise. I think just because of the duo he's in, he doesn't get credit for being as good as he is.
We love to talk about Dionysian archetypes.
Oh yeah,
on this podcast.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking about this when you mentioned it this morning, and I was trying to think who's Dionysus, who's Apollo. I think.
Sorry, SpongeBob and Squidward. We have dummies for fans.
I think.
No, we have dummies for us.
Yes.
I was trying to think who's SpongeBob, who's Squidward, and out of these two,
Andre is SpongeBob.
I think it works because they're both.
Oh,
That's like me and you.
I think they're both.
That's like me and Chris.
no,
And that's
you're
why,
Squidward.
because it's like I think Big Boi as
No,
well.
I'm also SpongeBob sometimes.
No,
I can be fun. I can be loose.
Squidward can have a handsome face at certain points, but he's still Squidward.
Yeah, okay, all right. But, I mean,
That's a very Squidward thing to say.
yeah.
Do you think you're the SpongeBob? Do you think you're the SpongeBob?
I'm SpongeBob.
He's the SpongeBob. I'm sorry, man. But you're Squidward. You're Squidward out of the two.
You're
out of the
fucking
two.
Patrick. You can't.
yeah. Oh, Roscoe's Patrick.
You're the squirrel who comes down every so often.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Who
are from
comes
the
down
south.
every so often. Yeah. I'm from the south. Yeah, dirty south. And I've got something to say.
The South's got something to say.
The south's got something to
Paul Smith.
So they were part of they were part of the dungeon.
The Dungeon Family. Yeah, Organised Noise.
Do you think that's a reference to the Hart family dungeon?
No, I think they just called the basement where Organised Noise produced
Yeah.
the dungeon. And I there's a documentary I think on like Netflix or something about Organised Noise that I watched when I was like 18. I thought it was so sick. The idea of just sitting in the basement with your good pals, just doing the thing you love 24/7 is so sick.
Weird drugs.
Yeah, huh?
Getting drugged
with
up.
your drugs, getting drugged up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They need a lot of credit for this album as well. It's like a very musically mature album.
For a couple of early 20-somethings.
It's unreal how young they are.
Yeah.
They're babies.
Yeah.
They're all babies when
They're
they
little
make
baby
this.
boys.
It's crazy that this is their third album, and it's like, yeah, they're like they would have been like 22 when they recorded it or something crazy.
and they'd already had two pretty good albums, and this time they went. I read an interview, or I actually read an oral history with Andre 3000 and Big Boi, and Andre was saying, look, at this point we felt like we'd already sort of proved ourselves to everybody else, and each iteration of us from that point onwards was to just try and impress ourselves.
Yeah.
So that the second album, Atlantan,
yeah, ATLians.
they were like, ATLians, they were like, we're aliens, was the whole concept.
Yeah.
And then they were sort of already fucking around, doing
Yes.
crazy shit.
Which is also incredibly. I had a hard time picking between this and ATLians because it's a.
Well, you said that you wanted to send 3 Outkast albums over like the first one, the second one, the third one.
Well, the reason I picked this one, only because it's like the first Outkast album I ever listened to, and it's like, and I love it, is I think that like this has elements of ATLians and Southern Playlist Cadillac music. They've even got like a song from the Cutting Room Floor from when they recorded the first album on this album.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a really good like. I think it's so funny to make an album like the lead single is called like Players Ball, and like your characters are like pimps, and it's just like every song it's like wall to wall bangers, and the next album is like Now We're Aliens. And every track is like X-Files. I love it.
Yeah.
There's so many cool guests on this album as well, and but it doesn't feel like, often modern hip hop albums, it feels like it's a marketing decision,
Sure.
sort of thing. But this, I mean, it had like CeeLo Green,
Raekwon.
What happened to CeeLo Green?
Raekwon.
What?
Oh, is that bad?
He's
Did he do a?
I think he's
Remember when he was outed as a sexual criminal?
Oh yeah. So then when you said that what happened to CeeLo Green, you knew.
You know, you remember?
But then he painted himself gold.
Was that
And he-
after then?
This was after.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a long time ago that he came out, I think.
He got outed, and then he went to, and then Me Too was happening, and then he painted his whole body gold. Went to an awards ceremony. People were asking him about it, and he got in a car, gave them a middle finger, drove away while giving the middle finger. And we never heard him again.
I've never heard of the concept.
Yeah. I
He's
didn't know
on
that.
the new. He's on the new. I listened to the new Killer Mike record, and he shows up in that. Killer Mike was part of the Dungeon family as well.
He was, yeah. He's on later. He's on later Outkast albums. Raekwon's great on this, and it's kind of good.
I didn't know CeeLo Green had been outed as a sex pest. I'm going to have to reevaluate who I'm putting on the playlist. Whoops. Also, Erykah Badu was on this. Her and Andre 3000 were an item.
Yeah, they were. They had a kid, his first kid, together, and sort of like the kids, like having kids and having families and like responsibilities and stuff is like obviously a big theme of this album. It's really like I love the song "Slump" is so funny because it's like the closest I think any of this the tracks on this album come to being an out-and-out banger. This is another thing that's so funny. Like every song on this album could be like a number one single, like a club banger, like a must-play song at parties. But it's like they're intentionally going out of their way to do one thing on every track that makes it impossible to use it like that. And on Slump, they've got a baby crying through the whole thing.
You can't
It's
just
amazing.
be hanging out with your drugs and
There's a baby crying. Yeah. Imagine if there was a baby crying through all of like Miss Jackson or Roses or Hey. That's so.
I know you
I think
like
that's so-
to think that your baby don't cry.
All of the songs are pretty long as well. Like they're
as hell.
like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes.
Yeah, skits incorporated into the songs. Like this is what I mean by like the musically mature as well. So it's like, but it's kind of vague. But there's like just little subtle things like the ooh like hook refrain in Slump. It just sounds like kind of like backing vocal style oohs for the whole song, and it just sounds like nice sort of like textural stuff that fills in the background. And then at the end, it bleeds. Everything else bleeds out, so it's just the oohs and the baby crying, and it sounds like the kind of noises that you would make to comfort a baby. And it's like, it's genius. It's incredible. Yeah. It's so good. It's like the a cappella switch on synthesizer. It's so
Synthesizer is one of the craziest songs. I never listened to this album in full ever.
It's so good.
Synthesizer is like, that was one where I was like, the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, this is class.
Yeah, this is like the whole line in the chorus on synthesizer about how the laptop's his cock or whatever, and like it's just
fuzzy logic computer virus on my penis.
Yeah. Cyber sex Wendy went down to the park. It's like George Clinton is on it too. He's
like
amazing.
Godfather of funk, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, and also like, so there's all these like interesting experimental instrumental stuff. And so they got loads of like great musicians in to play this stuff. But Andre 2000, like at one point, it plays the kalimba himself.
Yeah. And
like,
the opening track.
Yeah. So he's playing all these fucking weird instruments as well.
Hold on.
It is just so mature for like a third album.
It's what I heard is that this is the one that, because obviously the first two are big hits, and then like for this one they got way more money and way more time. So this is the first one where they like had a whole house or something. They all basically lived there. They got a baby grand piano in the house. They had all these session musicians coming in and out, and they basically built all the songs from scratch together from just riffing. Is what I've read about it, which is really like. And like Andre 3000 obviously gets a lot of credit, but I think the responsibilities seem to have been fairly evenly split between the two of them. I think Big Boi wrote all the hooks for all the songs. Like he's way
underrated
more involved.
king.
Yeah, really underrated. And then it just like it's just so amazing that these like two people in their fucking early 20s and all their mates, everyone in the Dungeon family, all these session musicians are working together and just like figuring it out. And they're having all these like musical instincts, like maybe we should do this, maybe we should do this. And every single one pans out. They all bang. Everything works. I think it's just so like there's stuff in like there's stuff even in the first album where when they're sort of like 10, 15 years on, they can do whatever they like. There's still like similar threads going through. It's like that Outkast was kind of always in there. But I think this is maybe the first one where they had the capacity to like start to really realize what they wanted to do and what they could do. That's why I think it's so impressive. I think this is like, if you want to listen to bangers, this is probably the worst Outkast album to listen to. But if you want to listen to Outkast, this is the best album to listen to.
Yeah. I was just walking about Camden Town
yesterday,
listening to this. Sounds good.
It's an incredible album. It's so
Music
good.
sound, good music to walk to.
Yeah.
Because of the wee details.
Yeah.
It just sounds perfect, but then, there's a baby crying or there's a person shouting, Mamacita, Papadana, Mamacita.
Papadana.
I walked past the Mexican supermarket and I went in while I was listening to that and I turned it off because I didn't want the guy at the counter to think I was being...
He thought you worried that he
an
would
otaku.
you stood outside.
Mexican otaku.
Right, before I go into this Mexican place, I'm going to put on something that these guys are going to fucking like.
Yeah.
Mamacita, just a guava yarritos, please.
Yeah, a Mexican wave.
So, like, this was one of the sort of first instances of Andre really singing as well in this album, which later came on. And there was a moment. It's Big Boi pulled Andre aside during the recording process and was like, "Hip hop fans are not gonna like this." Singing you're doing, because he was fairly like maligned in the hip hop community because he was so like outrageous, right? People thought, is this guy gay? Is he on drugs? He's like this out. He's like wearing crazy fucking dresses.
But I think Big Boi also like
He's a traditionalist.
Yes, but I think he also was like
He probably wouldn't like stand-up shows that use multimedia either.
Probably, maybe not. But I also think he needs more credit in this respect for the albums being like. Obviously, I don't know, but like if you are in a hip hop group with Andre 3000, you know what you're in for. I think like what I think is really impressive about Aquemini too is that like the first two albums are great and they've got like so they bring out the first one. It's a huge hit out of nowhere. It's like massive, and it propels them into stardom, the Source Awards and stuff. And then they've got the difficult second album. This feels like the first one where it's like they're talking about like they're having families and responsibilities. They're like settled as Outkast for the first time. It feels like they know what it's like. They've spent 4 years being famous as Outkast together, not just two kids that met in the mall and like making music together.
They know each other.
Yeah, and it feels like I read something about the two of them had like a big like sort of clash about the order of the songs on the album. But I think you can't like this isn't like. Big Boi is not along for the ride with whatever Andre 3000 is doing. He's as responsible for the whole thing.
And I read about that sort of argument they had about the track listing and stuff, and it feels like, I mean, if that's the biggest argument that you had in the making of something like this, then you've done all right. We've probably had more arguments about this podcast. And
you wanted to have a couch, and I'm still not really happy about the couch.
There's like all sorts of stuff like there's.
No, we're talking about the couch.
How do you feel on the couch?
I like it. I think it's
great too. I've been able to look at you directly in the face.
It's cool. It's cool dynamic. Adds layers and texture.
Yeah, do you not feel like we're speaking down to you?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, you're taller.
Maybe Liam, but not you. I'm sorry, Christopher. I don't know why I'm just trying to impress everybody on your podcast. I'm sorry.
This is what happens when a third person comes in. This is why I'm no interest in like polyamorous shit.
I'm the Raekwon of this.
He's the Patrick Starfish, do you know what I mean? And whenever Patrick Starfish comes in, suddenly SpongeBob is fucking around with him. Remember, I'm SpongeBob.
Absolutely.
And we're both making fun of Squidward.
He's not Patrick. He's like fucking Mr. Krabs or something.
I'm Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl the whale. Yeah.
She was cool, man.
Yeah, you have a big hard on for that whale.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother, that teenage whale.
What was the wee guy with one eye? Plankton. He was hot, man.
He's hot. His wife is a computer on a stick.
Yeah.
A smoke show. Wow.
In a way, I don't know if you've seen Black Mirror. Are we not all Plankton these days?
What, shagging our computers? Yeah, I am.
That's cool.
Did you know
I punched a hole in my MacBook Pro with a drill and I fuck it every day.
Did you know Rosa Parks sued them for
I did. I was going to bring that up. That's so funny.
They thought the song was slanderous about Rosa Parks, but it's like, I don't know if you've listened.
I don't want to be rude. I think that was something wrong for her to do.
Yeah, I think so. It's just funny.
Was it her or was it the Rosa Parks Foundation? I thought it was.
She was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I agree with her on a lot of stuff, but that was out of line.
Yeah, I think it's funny to say. I'm glad that somebody's finally brave enough to police Rosa Parks' behaviour. But
Wouldn't catch SpongeBob saying that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, a good episode of this.
Can I just say, throughout this whole podcast as well, Chris has been double gunning Iron Brews. He's got 2 open cans of Iron Brew that he's switching between at one time. This is truly unhinged behaviour. Whilst putting Rosa Parks on blast.
Yeah. Finally, someone's holding her to account. That's what I think.
Did you get an unhinged YouTube comment?
No, I don't have an unhinged YouTube comment.
I think it's great. I think it just adds to the whole Outkast mythology. You know, like that Rosa Parks sued them for this album. It's funny.
It's a really funny thing to have.
With Big Boi, I was just going to say, like, if you're in the point where you're all sleeping in a house together and you've got a baby grand piano there and you're doing all this, like, you're doing all these kalimba riffs.
You're making a baby cry to record it.
Yeah, I don't think that if he's going to Andre 3000, maybe, like, you know, people won't like it if you sing. I think it's probably more of like less a rejection of the style and less like a line in the sand of going, well, I just want to make like classic boring hip hop tracks or whatever, and more like just how about we do what we're doing in a different way? Because I do think like so much of what Big Boi's doing is incredibly innovative as well, and like he's, like I said, like he's an incredible rapper, and just on his if he'd just been a solo artist, I think that he's good enough, he's skilled enough, and also they've got this fucking insane awareness of their subject matter as well, in a way that, like, this is again I listened to this album when I was a teenager. I bought it for like 50p from a charity shop. I listened to it all the way through, and I didn't really have like when I was a kid. Like, I think I was just young. I didn't really listen to albums. I listened to like single songs on like YouTube and LimeWire.
This was one of the first records that grabbed your little dick
and like yanked it off, man. And
they were like just separate, I think, from that whole previous hip hop, like what the way that you were supposed to do things.
Yeah.
And there's a point in that oral history where they're talking about when Raekwon came in.
Yeah.
And
it's so funny.
Raekwon went into the booth to do his bars, and he says to Big Boi, "Well, come in with me."
Yeah.
And Big Boi's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, this is how you do it. Like, you come in with me and I will feed off your energy and I'm going to shout my bars into your face."
Yeah.
Which just seems like an incredibly fucking intense way.
Oh, that's when I was reading the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
And you got a guy called Old Dirty Bastard. And you're like, let's just shout at each other. Whereas these guys are more, you know,
a little bit more,
right next to the Coca-Cola factory, just having a nice time.
they're all like
your dad's a bailiff, you know what I mean? You don't want to shout at some kind.
Andre 3000's in the corner with his legs crossed playing on a kalimba, you know, like screaming at each other.
Andre 3000's meditating.
But also, if you just have that, it's like this. What I was talking about. Like, what? There's so much of like there are things about songwriting and making an album that I hadn't thought about until I listened to this album. Like the tone in which they rap about, like, Miss Jackson is a great example of
Sorry,
this.
Miss Jackson.
It's not on this album. It's on the next album. It's a perfect album. It's like the first time that chorus comes in, it sounds like really apologetic and stuff. It sounds like almost like a ballad.
Who do you think Miss Jackson was?
Was Erykah Badu's mum.
Was it?
That's what it's about.
Oh,
so
I thought it was Janet Jackson.
It was, yeah. It's Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Give me my son. and basically. But then,
never meant to drop him off at your amusement park that is on your house.
But then as the verses come in and they start, like, they're talking about what they're talking about through the song, it transpires what the song's actually about. And the last line of a verse before the last chorus is, "You can go and get the hell on you and your mum." So it's like, fuck off, basically. Let bygones be bygones. And then when the last hook comes in, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as the first one, but now it doesn't sound like it's like, I'm sorry. Now it's like, fuck off. It's like really detached. And the way they play with tone and how they I read stuff before about Andre 3000, like
3 steps,
being like really like kind of dispassionate in the way that he raps about like really important stuff, and it lends like they just add so much texture and depth to it's just every like minute microcosmic thing about how to put a song together. They both just seem like they're just perfect at
He's a
every
real
thing.
artist.
I think they both are. Organized Noise as well, I think are like.
He could have been Prince, I think, and I just don't know what happened with 3K. You know,
I think a bit like but he still got it though.
He's still amazing. Yeah,
it's like I love fucking Spotty Doppelicious, because it's like a really good. It could be a club banger. The perks, everything. The funk is insane, but instead of rapping, they're just doing spoken word about how you have a shit life. It's so funny.
So they said that was inspired by Iceberg Slim, who had a spoken word album, which I didn't know about. I've read Iceberg Slim's book, Pimp, which is like his
It's
biography.
about being a pimp.
Yeah, right. It's really fascinating. It's not very progressive, I'll tell you that. Some of these pimps, I think, misogynists, quite frankly. But yeah, he had a spoken word album.
Pimping ain't easy, so lay off them. Someone's got to stick up for the pimps these days.
I listened to a few songs of that album, and it's like it's basically like sort of jazz music with him sort of doing spoken word over it. It's fucking cool.
Yeah,
Maybe we should put that on instead of CeeLo Green.
I read a really interesting list of influences for this album, and you mentioned something earlier at the house where it's kind of like the more you think about it, the you can think of so many things off the top of your head that are almost undoubtedly influenced by this. Like the range of sounds of this album is crazy. The sonic range is crazy. The live
There's a little bit of
musicians
proto trap.
Yeah, proto trap. The fucking the Parliament Funkadelic style stuff. All the synthesizer stuff is great. There's some like straight up G funk. A song literally just ripped off the first album recording sessions, but it feels like it fits. A baby crying, thunderstorms. It's great.
I think that's
a hoedown in
That was wild when the hoedown comes in
Rosa Parks, right?
Yeah, that's his stepdad playing harmonica on that.
Is it?
They were just like, he knows how to play harmonica. Let's get him in, and he did it in one take, and they were like, that was fucking perfect.
That's incredible. I love that.
The song, the actual CeeLo song, Liberation,
is
fucking beautiful. It is beautiful.
I don't think I've heard it.
Liberation on this song. On this album.
Sorry. I thought you said a CeeLo song.
Well, he sings on it. Yeah. The song that features CeeLo Green, as well as one or two others, is like 9 minutes, and it fucking rips.
Yeah, it's great. It's a fucking You're Scared is a banger as well.
Before we
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week.
Yeah, we must do that.
Kathy Vogel 7939 on the video for Hey Ya. She said, my husband was horrified when at the age of around 70, I made this the ringtone on my cell phone. Now I'm 76, and this is still one of my favorites. Love this group.
That's not unhinged, that's nice.
Well, someone responded. Utex 3845 said, it's not a group, just one guy. Which isn't true.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, not
actually,
true.
It was for that one.
For that one, yeah.
Yeah, so fair enough. But it's still unhinged.
We also...
I think it's crazy to be like, I'm 76 and 6 years ago, this is my favourite record, and it's still my favourite record. How much is people's taste in music changing between 70 and 76?
Wow, that's perhaps very ageist of you. What, you don't think 70-year-olds are capable of experiencing new things?
Yeah.
No, my grand. I mean, well, how do I get into it?
Speaking of new things... With two guys reviewing tattoos, we're gonna Google image search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. We're judging the ink, and that's what we'll do. Full sleeve or face tat, something or wingbacks. You get your design, is it battle just fine? Pretentious or tall, a dragon or a skull. Who will decide? It is just fine if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. Yeah.
Wow, that's
we
awesome.
can tell who's never listened to the podcast by the reaction to that, and it's our feelings are hurt.
I've never seen it live.
That
was incredible.
Good save. Uno got the lyrics wrong again. So Chris has not seen these. I don't think either. No. So here we have. This is Andre's the top of his left arm.
What's that supposed to be?
It says DF, so Dungeon Factory, I think.
Dungeon Family.
Dungeon Family. Yeah. So and beneath the DF there is an upside down tree. So
could also stand for doofus fucker.
It could stand for doofus fucker.
Could stand for dick.
You calling Erykah
flicker.
Badu a doofus? Wow.
Yeah, dick flicker.
I cool, as I said on the podcast.
Dick flickers.
Dick flickers. Yeah.
So it's sort of basically I guess designed a little logo.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I like the upside down pattern tree.
So we'll come to that. So what do you think of the DF first? Is that a tattoo woohoo or a tattoo boohoo?
It reminds me of DFS.
DFS, the furniture company, the DFS sale.
They didn't have enough money to put the S on.
The Outkast sale is now on.
It says discount furniture on his arm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. This couch is 20% off.
Yeah.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, they said it was a futon.
What the
fuck?
What? That's good, Pat.
That was great, man. That was great. I love that.
Are you giving this? Are you giving this a tattoo woohoo or a tattoo boohoo?
Woohoo, yeah, it's got to be a woohoo for me.
I think if you've had a record label and then the logo of your record label on your arm, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's not just the label. It's like you and all your pals. You know, you came up together.
Absolutely,
I think that's cool.
When
that's
are
why
we going to get
the Enjoy
When are
album?
we gonna get that? You should all get this one.
So
we need to do a live tattoo.
can you show your tattoo to this camera? It is a pair of legs with a head coming out. There's no torso, no cock and balls.
My friend Paddy done that.
Mm-hmm.
Paddy, who you are
Paddy Young.
in your comedy,
My comedy friend.
comedy sketch partner.
It used to have a cock and balls, but the compromise with my girlfriend was that I didn't get the cock and balls tattooed on the guy.
Great.
Well, no, it wasn't a compromise with my girlfriend. I said to her, that makes her sound like, no. What it was is I said...
It doesn't make us sound bad, I promise you.
I said, listen, baby, I'm sorry. I said, listen, baby, I'm going to
Are
get
you
this
Tom
tattoo.
from the episode of Tom and Jerry where it goes, is you is or is you not my baby?
I says, listen, baby, I'm going to get this tattoo.
Or is you not my tattoo?
But I felt bad about going into this tattoo parlor and saying, can you do this little cock and balls on my arm?
You felt bad for the tattoo artist?
Well, no, I know people get like naughty tattoos and stuff, but like it's like a tiny cock. It's like a tiny little cock and balls.
You think he wouldn't like drawing something that small because it's hard to get the detail in?
But no, but this is like it's. You must agree that it's different to get this like sort of wackadoo funny tattoo to get this with like a
was the
anatomical
tattoo?
cock and balls
What
on
gender was the tattoo artist?
It was a guy, I think, but I didn't ask.
I think the reason for not getting a cock and balls tattooed in you, embarrassing the tattoo artist is low down on my list of reasons.
Well,
for that.
embarrassing me.
Yeah.
If I walk into a place I've never been before, I'm like, hi, can I have this place? You know.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, yeah, obviously I'll do swastikas on dicks all the time.
No, but I mean, like, also I'm going up for like I'm doing self tapes for adverts and
No, but
stuff.
that's a
and
good
I'm like,
that's a
I've
good
got little
reason to not get cock and balls on your arm.
That's one.
But that's your first reason.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to put these self-tapes, you still have a wee ugly guy with like wee hairy legs.
Yeah, but now he's a chaste guy. he's
a eunuch?
He's a eunuch, yeah.
Now it's sexless and pure.
I did actually
we've
get
got another tattoo of Andre's to look at. Here we go. So this is the best picture I could get of this. It's basically just like a design. There's a star.
I think it's cool to have Getty
triangle.
images tattooed on your belly.
He's got Getty images
Mark
tattooed.
Baptiste.
Big old Mark Baptiste, good guy. Now Andre 3000 has said that he hates all of his tattoos. He got them when he was younger and he doesn't like them.
Really?
I know how you feel, brother. I know how
Yeah,
you feel.
he doesn't like them, but I think they're cool.
Even the Dungeon Family one, that's sad.
He said he got them all when he was
Well.
younger and he regrets them all, is what he
Oh.
said. And I saw an interview, I couldn't get any pictures, but an interview with Big Boi. Big Boi's got loads of tattoos.
Yeah.
And he's got a GQ did an interview of him and it's on YouTube, and he does like a tattoo tour where he goes through them all. He's got like full sleeves. He's got loads of fucking crazy shit. He was like, the only thing I don't got is stuff on my dick.
Have you seen that tattoo people get? We were looking up dick tattoos recently.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one where it's like a devil's face and the nose of the devil is the cock?
No.
Check it out.
Can I have a look? Will you show me on your phone?
I have it as the wallpaper on my phone. I'll show you after.
Okay.
Don't want you to get too
That's
horny on the pod.
That's a boohoo from me.
Yeah, it's just
It's kind of lame. I don't know what I can't really see what it is, but it's kind of lame.
I would love to have a body where I could get a chest tattoo like
Me
that
too.
and feel comfortable like that.
Me too. That's
Yeah,
nice,
yes,
man.
Chris, we're talking about you. We would love to have your body.
I've
So
actually got in really good shape.
that's
Anatomical heart. That's called tattoo. Nice, man. Nice.
yeah. Chris is flexing his muscles.
Kissed it.
Sorry, he's
Wow.
flexing his muscle. His cock and balls.
What happened to body positivity?
Bozzy positivity.
What happened to body
positivity with my fucking balls?
my mate. Whatever happened to my mate Bozzy? Where's he
Good
gone?
old Bozzy pods. So that's a boohoo from me as well.
There's a boohoo.
So well, we've got to wrap up now. So Christopher, did you enjoy this album?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was, honestly, this week the two records we've been listening to this week, just walking about, two great records to sit and enjoy. And
I really enjoyed it as well. Fun album.
Thanks for
I'm actually looking forward
improving
to
my week.
getting into some other fucked up Outkast stuff. Every
what
week.
fucked up Outkast stuff?
Well, they've got loads of. They did
got
an
loads
album
of
with
great
the
albums.
aliens.
Oh, ET aliens.
Can you still hear me in the mic? Because my headphones have gone, by the way.
Yes, we
We can still hear you.
So every week we add a song from the album to the ever-growing Enjoy an Album playlist, our favourite song from the album, or one that we think will improve the playlist. I was going to put on the one with CeeLo Green. I have changed my mind. So instead, I'm going to put on a Spottiotti Dopalicious.
Right, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to stick on Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And as a playlist, I'm going to put on Crazy by CeeLo Green.
Are you actually?
No.
No.
30 Hours by Kanye featuring 3 Sticks. And I guess Kanye's just as bad, but I really like Kanye West.
So Ed, you get to put on a song from the album, and then any other song maybe inspired by the conversation we've had.
30 Hours.
So
If you've already put Rosa Parks on, I think I'm going to put on.
I'll put Skew on the Barbie if you want to put Rosa Parks on.
No, you put Rosa Parks, and I'll put Skew on. No, I won't put Skew on. I'll put Aquemini. Aquemini goes on there. That's the title track, and it's a great song, and it got lots of levels.
What do you think about the fact that they have such an emphasis on the star signs? Because you famously don't believe in star signs and think that they're gimpish.
No, I don't have anything against people who do believe in them. I think it's crazy. Like, I think it's really it on this album. It represents an interesting direction because they're not like it's like, imagine, naming an album after your star signs, and everything's all about sort of like progress. There is a little bit of like esoteric stuff on the album, maybe the star signs, to stimulate and activate the left and right brain, all this stuff. I think, I mean, I don't really care if you believe in star signs. I think it's a cool name for an album as well. Really cool.
My second choice is going to be The Fall, The Game Part 1 by Iceberg Slim.
That's so cool.
And if there's a second song inspired by a conversation, maybe
any
a different
song you've thought of,
any song.
Can be any song in the world that is
some
maybe
Kerrang music from earlier on you were talking about.
Or one of your choir songs.
Any
Hootie
song
and the Blowfish.
in the world, huh? Okay, in that case,
Inspired by the conversation.
Inspired by this conversation
that we've had for the last hour.
Okay.
So you can't just put on fart sounds or whatever to try and run the playlist.
Can't put
you can see into your brain. See those little cogs whirring away.
Yeah, Cogmaster.
I will put inspired by this conversation. Wow, let me have a think.
Kerrang. You were talking about Kerrang.
I was talking about Kerrang. Okay, in that case, if we're talking about Kerrang, I'll put on. I'm trying to think. When I listened to Kerrang, it was like my favorites were like Linkin Park. I think I'll put on a song by.
This is the longest anybody's ever taken.
I can't think of a song. I'm so bad at thinking of a song. Freak on a Leash. There you go. Fuck you.
Okay.
Great choice.
Great choice. Ed, thank you so much for coming and being on this podcast. You have your own podcast. It's called Slime Country.
You gotta check it out.
With Huge Davies and Sunil Patel.
Yeah,
3 very funny lads. Go check them out. Ed, you're doing some whips at the Fringe as well?
Oh, I might be doing some whips at the Fringe, but
You're doing a tour?
I'm doing a tour, so I will be at the Monkey Barrel in November, I think, doing my tour show. Come to that.
You going back to Blackfriars?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, it'd be great. Glasgow as well.
Get Ed on his socials and make sure you check out some of his funny videos with Paddy as well. He's a very funny dude.
Anytime you guys down in London, you got a hum in Slime Country.
We're not interested. We would love to.
He hates you, Davies.
We would love. No, don't say that. That's not true at all. People would think that's real.
He hates him.
I don't. I think he's very funny.
Gonna have to be lots of edits on this one.
Yeah. No, we're gonna cut that because I don't want that circulating as a rumor when it's not even true.
It's not true.
I've already texted him and told him.
It's not true.
Yeah, Chris, I do think it's really wrong what you said about Rosa Parks, though.
It's the one bang out thing she's ever done.
What, the bus thing?
Yeah. No!
No, Christopher, that's so terrible.
The bus thing was fine.
Christopher,
Listen,
wow.
We're going to wrap the episode up and we're going to go and have a word with Christopher about his about some of his dodgy opinions.
The one bang out thing she ever done was sue the Outkast boys.
Okay.
Thank you so much, dear listener, for tuning into this hour of hate speech from Christopher.
And validating the lived experience of pimps from all of us.
Why would that invalidate my own experience?
Thanks again, Ed, and enjoy your week. We'll be
Bonsoir.
here again next time. Love you, bye.
Bonsoir.